Hi, and welcome to Positively Sparking, podcasts on internet marketing, online business, entrepreneurship, and digital living. Today I'm with Neil Henry, Director at Positive Sparks, and today we're going to chat about how you can make social media deliver leads, subscribers, and sales, not just likes and followers, for your business. Listen and learn why we believe the answer lies in the new opportunities offered by social advertising. So hey Neil, how are you?
Good morning, Phil. I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Are you refreshed for some time off?
I am thoroughly refreshed. Yes, it's nice to sit down.
Well, that's a good thing. So we've got a big question to chat over today. And that is, how can social ads enhance social media presence? And this all relates to a problem that you often chat with me about. So go ahead, Neil. You've got a big question to put to everyone that I'm sure is on everyone's mind.
Yep. Okay. Social media and the age-old problem of how social media really is an intrusive platform, or as a platform is something that people use for their personal, social life more than their professional life. Or in terms of the actions that they want to take in life. So because of that, and it being social as a platform, how can you as a business embrace that platform to get people to not just like or follow something, but take action with your business? And so the question really is that social media has the age-old problem of trying to generate leads. I think that is the fundamental part of how social media needs to work for a business, and it's an age-old problem.
Okay. And so if we think back, say, 10 years ago, then in some ways there's a lot of similarity between where Facebook and Twitter, the big two social media platforms, are when we compare them with Google when they first launched AdWords. So prior to Google AdWords, the way that we pulled leads from Google was through organic SEO rankings. And in the same way, traditionally what we've done on Facebook and Twitter is we've used the organic power of posts to make good things happen for us. Now, as the ad networks of Facebook and Twitter grow, the organic reach of posts on those platforms falls, which is a negative thing, most people would say. But if we just look at the fact that the organic power of posts on social media and Twitter falls, we miss this new opportunity that opens up to us through the advertising networks. And if we can find a way to combine the advertising network with what we do organically, we get something very powerful. So when people struggle to get leads from social media, it's generally because they're just doing organic posting. And their account might be quite new, so it doesn't have that historical power that a Facebook or Twitter account that was started 5 or 6 years ago will have, because they've benefited from the time when those platforms were just about organic reach. It's kind of the same as a website that's 10 years old or more on Google. It just ranks better because it has that history. If we start anew and we start afresh, then we have to start with the best tactics for today, all in all. So Neil, what do you find is the biggest issue when you're doing your own social media? What frustrates you?
Well, the most frustrating thing, I suppose, about social media for a business, this is not as a person you're asking, as an individual, you're asking as a business. Is that right? Or for myself, trying to promote myself?
Well, give us both.
Well, I suppose as an individual, it's finding the balance between, you have a network of people, let's say Facebook, Twitter, they're good ones to look at, because LinkedIn is much more professionally based. So it's easy to keep to the straight and narrow of your professional network, showcasing professional thought leadership and curating content of a professional nature that keeps you within your ilk, your business. But in terms of, say, Facebook, you will have a growing network of people that are personally related, family, friends related to yourself. So expanding your knowledge base and what you have to say in your industry, in your profession, to those kind of people is very rarely relevant to what they're doing day to day. So it's very rarely of interest to them. So that, I think, as an individual trying to promote yourself on Facebook, less so on Twitter, but certainly on Facebook, it's a difficult challenge and that's where the advertising side of Facebook really does make sense for individuals and small businesses. Because what so many people try and do, catch-22, they have a nice Facebook profile, they're promoting their business, their products, their services on a personal profile that is not relevant to, let's say, probably 80% of that network of people. So an advertising network such as Facebook for that is much better, because then what you can do is you can eliminate those people or use them as you need to, but you can target audiences in your demographic region, within your geography, within a certain industry, within certain community groups, so you can get people that are relevant to your business rather than your personal life. And I think that's huge. That would be where I would think that the network of Facebook advertising works significantly better than any other channel, including Google, for that reason, because you can target your audiences. But going back to something you were just talking about there previously, about the intrusive nature of advertising on, say, a Facebook feed, it's difficult to try and ascertain the best ways of using Facebook, until the way Facebook worked with advertising started to really get savvy in the last year to how they position, place, and show ads. I, for example, nowadays will go on a website and I'll just be browsing something. I don't know, it might be solar panels for my roof. It might be a new pair of trainers. Instantly, I might hop onto Facebook and instantly there will be an ad within my eyeline for companies related to those subjects that I've searched for online. That instantly eliminates the intrusive nature of social media, because I am interested in that subject because I've just been on it and Facebook knows it. Now, I think that's great. I don't think that's smoke and mirrors. I don't think that's propaganda. I don't think that's anything particularly, as I say, intrusive about social media giving me what I want. And I think that is where really ads on social media works really well, because it's eliminated the intrusive nature of it.
That's a great point. So you're remarketed with solar panels.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things we can do on social media. So you probably started on Google, did a keyword search, read something on social media panels, and then went onto Facebook.
Yeah, it's just like, I'll have a couple of tabs open and you're having a look for, you're browsing for whatever the subject may be, whatever the product or service is. But then 5 minutes later, half an hour later, 5 hours later, whatever, I go on Facebook and it then has a savvy ad that's engaging to me because it knows it's a subject that I've been interested in. So I think to answer your question about where it's where social media is frustrating, I don't find it frustrating anymore in terms of using advertising on social media, because all of the platforms have a real good understanding, certainly Facebook does, a real good understanding that, yes, the process was intrusive to people because they're not in a sales position at that point, or a purchase decision at that point, but what they are is they understand the format that people are using there, and then they can make that far less intrusive. I'm trying to think of a different word to intrusive, but far less intrusive in terms of what you're doing online at that point in time. So you don't feel like this is a sales push, I'm glazing past it, let me scroll down the page to get past this advert as quick as I can. And in the end, all adverts blend into one because of it. That doesn't happen anymore because Facebook especially, and I think Twitter's getting this as well now, is starting to understand how people and why people use social media, and they can blend the two between personal use of social media versus decisions and purchase choices that they wanted to make in life.
Yeah, good stuff. So there, I think you've touched on a dead important point, which is around the idea that on Google, we never stumble across an ad. We might do on one of their other networks like YouTube, but that is really more akin to a social media platform than Google searches. But because you have done some research on Google, you then don't mind seeing a relevant ad in Facebook because you've kind of asked for it previously on Google. So it doesn't feel as intrusive. And when we look at our own marketing, that works in a similar sense for us on Facebook and Twitter, because on Google, we'll advertise directly our pay-per-click services. But on Facebook and Twitter, we promote the weekly e-shot, the podcast, and our free resources. So we're giving rather than showing. Do you think that's a fair split of the two?
I think it's absolutely. I think that's perfect. What we're doing is we're enabling people to see. So the different types of promotions that we would do as a business on social media would be is this trust element. Yes. We're building trust through people. You want people to understand that this is not just about us trying to plug a product or a service. We're trying to give people information to either enlighten them or give them thought leadership or give them some kind of idea of this is how you can help or build your own business. We don't want anything. We're not trying to get anything from you. We just want to show you the ways we believe and we see with our clients working for them, whether it's social media ads, whether it's social ads or whether it's Google ads, Bing ads, whatever the network. For us, it's about sharing our knowledge. We're not trying to sell something. And I think that's crucial when people are on social media. They don't want to be sold something there and then. They want to build that connection themselves based on trust, based on rapport, based on looking at reviews, based on building some kind of empathy for what you've got to say, what you believe in, or what you are as a business, so they can come to you and trust you in their own time.
Cool. I think we also benefit from showing a social ad from a Facebook page or a Twitter account which already has a number of followers. So that's where the organic side of social media contributes. If we show an ad from a brand new Facebook account or a brand new Twitter account, we know this from our own experience, it's tougher to make that ad engage because there's not that numeric proof that this account is worth looking at. So I think that's another thing that makes the ads go further, is when they are promoted from an account that is regularly updated and regularly promoted. So, one thing we've found is you've replaced the news and the blog side of the old Positive Sparks website with the Facebook page. And that actually gets more interaction on Facebook than it did when it was part of our overall site.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, Phil. It's a good one you make, because organically, traffic, as we've said, is diminishing because of the amount of real estate that all these platforms put on paid advertising. So because of that, the churn of creating content to get organic rankings is so much more difficult nowadays than it ever was before. So because of that, it's more important, really, and there's so many other places that can create really great content that is worth sharing when you can see the wood for the trees, which is a crucial element. But once you can do that, it's more beneficial to certainly clients within our industry, within, let's say, healthcare, finance, wherever it may be. The odd little piece of organic content is worth doing to tick over, but really showing people leadership pieces that are relevant to them as a business is better coming from various sources, not just your own. So you're not just A, singing from the same hymn sheet, and B, just trying to endorse your own position, because any piece of content that people create always has some kind of motive. And if people are just getting forced content from your own domain, network of sources, it kind of gets a bit stained, a little bit mundane.
It does.
And organically, it's not really where you're going to see the best traction for traffic for your site, your web presence.
No, I think that's true. It probably also looks a bit like boasting, doesn't it? When we just promote our own things.
Yeah.
One other interesting thing that we've been noticing across the last year is that we actually get less traffic now from social media platforms than we used to. And a lot of that is because a Facebook page and even a Twitter account now has the capacity to have other things within it. So Facebook especially, the Facebook tabs allow us to